Hey, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Not for real. Make sure you click on the subscribe button so you can get some more like weekly content out of my MMA training, my evolution, MMA. Okay, are you ready? I like incorporating some of Bruce Lee's philosophies and applying them to my life. And so there's this quote that he says that mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them. I think that one of the major struggles for me growing up is admitting to my mistakes. As crazy as that sounds, see, if you grew up in a household where you have a single parent and then one of your parents works their ass off every day so that they can take care of you financially, and so that puts a lot of pressure on yourself because you're expected not to make any mistakes. You're expected to be the child that does everything that the parent tells you to do because first, you're not from this country. Second, there's nothing else you could do but just be a good child. There's nothing you shouldn't do other than go to school and get good grades and behave. You see, some of the things that I grew up with was do everything that I was told to do because that was the best choice for me. One of my parents are here to work for the American dream. And so we put this pressure on ourselves, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. We're trying to be perfect and trying to not make mistakes, even if it meant lying about the things that I did just so that that parent wouldn't be disappointed or would be upset. And I had no say because if I wanted to succeed in this country, I had to own up to the standards and I had to do what I was told to do so that I can be successful and that I can live the life that I want. So I grew up in a single household, a single mother household who she worked her ass off all the time. And she did that for my family, for my siblings, for me. And she did that so that I could live the life that I have. As children, we take things like that for granted because we don't see the struggle that they go through every day so that they can go to work and then come home and cook and at the same time do that every day, all the time. I realized throughout the years is that parents do this so that they can give us a life that they never had because they grew up with a different type of household and different mindsets. And then when they get to do that with their kids, it's like a new opportunity for them to do that, to live. But sometimes what happens is that I feel like parents live through us. They live through their children. And so I feel like I was expected to do those things because that's what they wanted me to do, because they thought that was the best thing for me, although it wasn't. So it really dawned on me, especially when I started training, because the first thing that your coach does is that he or she corrects you. You know, not because they don't care about you. If anything, coaches will fix you in the long run. And they fix you because they want the best for you. They want you to become the best fighters you can be. And so with mistakes, the more mistakes that you make, the more you can fix them. Because I had so much influence growing up and me feeling like I needed to be perfect or not make mistakes, I ended up making a lot more mistakes than I thought. Like, I sugarcoated a lot of things and I lied about a lot of things. And then when I was in training, and then I realized that you get exposed in training. MMA, we're always making mistakes. But then again, there's coaches or there's teammates that help us fix those mistakes so that we can become better fighters. And not until I started training MMA, I realized that they were only trying to help me. when my coach started fixing my mistakes, I took that so deep, dude. I took that so personal because it's like, why don't you need to fix me? Obviously, he needed to fix me because I was barely starting. And even after,
I am just being all mad about it
and feeling like I am not good enough, or feeling like I keep making all these mistakes and I'm not learning anything. No lie, like growing up, I avoided confrontation, and I avoided my mom telling me that I was doing something wrong. So then I always try to do everything that was right so that she will be happy and so that she wouldn't be disappointed. Wish that I would grow up with like roasting me and my friends, because now I do that shit with my friends where we can tell each other crap, but we won't take it too personal. And I wish I would have grown up like that, not taking things so personal, so that I wouldn't be so f***ing emotional, bro. Now I get made fun of because I look like a Oompa Loompa. I wish somebody would have made fun of me when I was growing up, calling me Oompa Loompa and shit.
I'm not saying you're ugly. I'm just saying you could go to the vet and nobody will ask questions. Girl, you're so ugly, you make onions cry.
You're so ugly, you went to a freak show and you got a permanent job.
You're so ugly, farmers use your picture as a scarecrow. Girl, you're so ugly, when you went to the zoo, they refused to let you out. Girl, you're so ugly, you can't get a date off the calendar.
Alright, you're right. Y'all get the point. You know, sometimes we gotta grow some tough skin. Just done that from the very beginning. Whether they think you're cool or not, whether they think you're pretty or not, it doesn't matter. And what matters the most is what you feel about yourself. And if you can admit to your own mistakes, you will have a chance to fix them so that we don't do them again. Like, I didn't want to hear anybody tell me about my mistakes, and at the same time I didn't want to admit to my mistakes because I didn't want people to know the wrong things that I was doing. I didn't want anybody to know the things that were not right or the mistakes that I was making. And what's crazy about it, once I started admitting my mistakes started going away. And that was because I got tired of holding them in. I got tired of making the same mistake twice. It's kind of like when doing a simple jab and a cross, and then your coach tells you, okay, you move your head afterwards, but then you don't do it, and so then you get hit. That eventually gets tiring because we don't want to get held in time. Resisting and rejecting that feedback and rejecting that criticism won't ever allow us to grow. Because I do think that when you admit to your mistakes, like, there's nothing anybody can say that would hurt you because you've already been hurt. As we want to fix those mistakes, then those mistakes will keep happening. I saw a quote earlier by Steven. He's a entrepreneur, like motivational speaker, and I follow him on Instagram, and he said, like, if you want to stop making mistakes twice, then start looking at your past decisions or your past memories and stop making decisions based on your current emotional state, something like that. And so I do think that as long as we go back in time to look back at what we did and what didn't work, and if we are willing to make those changes, because the same thing with sparring, or the same thing with a jab and a cross, and the same thing with kicking, if we keep making the same mistakes and we keep doing the same things with the same outcome, then we're not really fixing anything. It's like we want change, yet we are not willing to change. In order for me to change my mindset and stop feeling bad for myself and stop feeling so overly emotional and putting myself down so much and taking things so personal, I had to change my mindset. I had to change the way that I talk to myself. I had to admit to my mistakes and fix them. It was a reflection that it really put a lot of things into perspective, And talking to my friends recently made me see how, you know, parents ultimately want the best for us. And sometimes they don't necessarily know exactly what is it that is best for us, but they will always try their hardest because they love us. Wait, last one. You're so ugly, you give Freddy Krueger nightmares. No. Okay, that was annoying. I know. Shut up. I know. Shit. I use this platform so I can express myself and show you guys that I am struggling just like everybody else, but at the same time, I learn as much as I can so I can be the best person that I can be.